Hello. We're going to try this again because this morning was a disaster. So hi. How are you? Hi, Meg. Hello. Hi, Tash. We're giving it another go. Hi. Because this morning there was some technical difficulties. I don't know if it was Instagram or Sky or what, but figured I just have another go. And if it's another disaster, then, well, today's just not my day. But it seems to be going fine so far. So I'm going to get started. This morning, I showed how to do some straight stitches in the middle. Hi, Meg. And then some French knots around. And I recorded 18 minutes of me talking about it and having a good time. And then I realized that literally no one was watching. And I thought, normally Meg watches at least, well, most of the whole time, if she can. And I thought, where is everyone? So I stopped it, and when I pushed publish so everyone can watch it later, it only recorded 36 seconds of my live, and the saved version only, it recorded all 18 minutes, but with no audio. So it was just me pointing to things and like stitching some stuff and pointing to other things. So I thought, delete. And I'll just do it again. So I'll show you again how to do the middle part, which is just some straight stitches, satin stitches in the middle. And then, hi Carrie. And then we'll do a chain stitch around the whole outside. Okay, so let me zoom and I'll do the inside of this one. So today you're going to need 3 different colors. One for the inside, one for the French knots, and then one for the outside border. So here we go. So yeah, normally I would show you the big one so it's like easier to see, but I'll show this one. And I think I'm going to swap the colors around a little bit as well. Well, maybe not. Maybe the yellow will be fine for the inside. Yeah, I'm going to use a brighter color for the inside. Okay, so you're going to use all 6 strands, just like normal. Do a little, good morning, Lucy. A little knot on the end. Ellie said, perfect timing to start my lunch break. That is perfect. Meg says, love the color combo of this one or this one. They're all the same colors, but they're just a little bit mixed up, aren't they? So like I said earlier, if you need to make some lines across the middle, go ahead and do that. You don't really need to because it's only like literally a couple of stitches for this little one. But if it helps you to keep it straight, then do it. And you also don't need to be so close to the edge. So normally if I was just going to do satin stitches in the middle to fill it up, I would make sure I went exactly almost inside these threads because I want it to look like a filled in circle. But because I'm going to add some French knots around the outside, you don't have to go so close because you're going to cover up that area. So just like always, give it a couple. Meg says both color combinations, but I love the little one more. I really wanted to use this bright pink from these ones. And like I said earlier and yesterday as well, for all the little details, it's super smart to use the colors that you've already been using. You can't see because it's zoomed in, but I'm pointing around the hoop. And that way you'll kind of incorporate all of the colors and it'll have a nice feel to it. So there you go, just a couple little ones there. Let me flip her over, do a little knot on the back. And this is where you might have some trouble because there's going to be a lot of knots and a lot of threads in the middle around here. Do I have any left from earlier? I'll do as many with this one as I can, but it's quite short. Okay, so far we have the little straight stitches here. Carrie says your hoop bottom looked so neat. Do you want to see it? I tightened it too much, now I can't. There we go. No, it's not neat at all. What are you talking about? And then here's the one that we're working on right now. So obviously there's a lot of knots in there and a lot of threads, so it might be a little bit difficult to push your needle through. So if you need to, I often will take my finger on the back and kind of push some knots to the side if I know I'm going to stick my needle right there, like that. Carrie says it does look neat compared to some of mine. Sometimes it does get a little bit crazy, but I think that's because, hi Melissa, I told you guys before that I don't like it when the threads go straight across because sometimes you can see them from behind. So obviously this is a really light color, but especially dark colors or black. So this one I definitely would not be putting across because you can totally see it through. Purple U. I don't know your names, so if you leave it, I'll try to remember, but she says, I always enjoy the background music. What is the genre? So I just go to YouTube and you can look for like a lo-fi jazz, whatever music, because Instagram will cut off your video if you use music from like Spotify that has a copyright on it. So you need to have the copyright-free music. So I'm just gonna go over, sorry, I just opened a Diet Coke and I just took one drink and now I have like the little bubble burps, you know, like a carbonation. Should not have done that. So I'm just gonna go over the French knots again, just in case. I know that we did them before and everyone's looked amazing. But I'm gonna show you how to choose whether you want 1 or 2 or 3 wraps. Okay, so for this one, I used 6 strands, 3 wraps. Yeah, and they're quite big. This is a smaller area. So what I like to do is I will use the 6 strands, try 1, but not commit. So I'll leave it like that. And that way I can see, is it big enough? Do I need to make maybe 2 wraps? And see if that makes sense. So that I think is too big, see? But again, it's up to you. This is where you need to make your own choices, your own decisions, and how you want it to look. So I'm just going to do, yeah, don't commit. Just wrap it around and then stick your needle in the top. Just the tip, just the very tip so that it stays. So many jokes I could have made just there, but I'm not going to. You guys are dirty. So I've chosen 1, 6 strands, 1 wrap. And you can tell it is a little bit tight. some ways to solve that if you maybe can't pull them through very well. Some people don't have very good hand strength, and that's completely fine. You can use a smaller needle. So I don't know what size it is, but I have this one, yeah. And then the other one that I like to use is much thinner. So if you look at them next to each other, can you tell? You can use a thinner needle, or you can use less strands. Hi, George. I love seeing your little name pop up there. So if you remember, this is where I put all my knots, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to pull the needle through. So you might have to use your finger on the back and take the knot out of the way. Or just dig around and find a space that doesn't have a knot there. But you can tell I'm pulling pretty hard. The other thing to remember is don't go through the same hole. So when you poke it up through the back, don't go back through down through the same hole, or else you'll pull the whole knot through and onto the back, which is not the end of the world. You just make another knot on top of it, because essentially you're just making a straight stitch. So there you go. So that's what I showed this morning. Oh, shit. There we go. Okay, so I'll go back to the pink one only because it's a bigger area and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So for this one, I chose a dark blue. Can you tell? In the video, it's a bit darker than it is in real life. It's a kind of a grayish color. And I'm going to split the thread into 3 strands. So far we used 6 strands for the middle, 6 strands for the knots, and I'm gonna do 3 strands for the border. And that's only because I don't want a really thick, wide border. I want a thinner, more delicate one. Also, I'm running out of thread, so I don't want to use it all up. So again, same, you're just gonna thread your needle, make a little knot on the back, and we're gonna use the chain stitch to outline it. And just to show again, this is how it's going to look when it's finished. So I didn't get very close here, but that's okay. This one, you'll see I only did a stem stitch around it because it's much, much, much smaller. So you can kind of like see them next to each other. This is about the size of the smaller flower on our 8-inch hoop. So have a little look. Okay, so I'm gonna start here, really close to this knot here, and we're gonna work our way around the outside and then over to here. Okay, let me tighten this. Okay, much better. One of these screws here is stripped, so it doesn't tighten up all the way. So that's what I get for getting it from a yard sale or a shop, a charity shop. Okay, so with the chain stitch, you can do it a couple of ways. I find the easiest one is to come up from the back, if I can find a place with no knot. And just like the detached chain stitch that we did up here, instead of making a little stitch on the other side of the thread, we're going to come up from the middle and make another chain. Okay, so I'll show. So just like before, you're going to come up, come down, you're going to make a loop like this, come up in the middle of the loop. Now you want to make all of your chains the same length, so this is where you need to choose how long or short do you want your chains to be. So for me, I'm going to make mine quite small because we're going to go around these curves, and I don't want it to look very angular, like a angle, you know. I want it to have like a nice curved edge around each of the petals. So I'm going to go for the smaller side. So pull it like this, and then you're going to make another loop, and you're going to go right back through the circle, the loop that we just made. So where you went up, you're going to go back down. Back up again. Pull it through. Again, where you went up, you're going to go back down. Any questions to this one so far? I know because I chose a darker color, you cannot see it so well. I apologize for that. Literally, as I was stitching, I was like, oh man, this is a bad idea, because you're not going to be able to see it very well. The other way is to kind of make this little stitch, and then you're going to slide your needle under each one. But obviously, I don't like to slide my needle underneath when I have the threads here, because you run the risk of snagging one of the threads with your needle, and I don't want to do that. So any questions with this stitch? It gives a nice thick line for borders, or if you like to do lettering. It's a good one for lettering. Like I said before, ow, I like to turn my hoop, so this is where I'm going to turn it sideways, like this, to keep it going round and round and round. Melissa says, I've never used chain stitch before. Yay, or yeah, learning even more new things. Yes. So I find that I tend to use the same kind of 10 stitches over and over and over, just because I stitch flowers. So I use the ones that lend themselves to flowers, you know? But if I was doing like a basket or something like that, like obviously there's only one stitch that you would use for a basket. So it's kind of, sometimes I feel bad, like with my patterns and with stitch-alongs and things, that I'm not using like a lot of crazy stitches, but at the same time, you don't want to use any that don't lend themselves well to what you're stitching, kind of just for shits and giggles, you know? Carrie says, I always think flowers look better with an outline. Yeah, so I tend to do that as well. Where does that come from? A knot. Yeah, I find that at first I would just leave them, but then kind of the more I stitch, I find, yeah, I do like to either put another color outline or just maybe one shade darker as an outline. Melissa says, is this similar to the daisy stitch? So yeah, this is the detached chain stitch because each one is by themselves, and this is just the regular chain stitch because they're all in a chain together. Does that make sense? Let's see if I can do this upside down. Some people call the daisy stitch the lazy daisy stitch. I don't know why I just had a Coke. Oh, it's so hard to do this upside down. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna go straight down and follow this line all the way until the French knots. Then the next one, I'm gonna start here where I've stitched so far. Oh my gosh, I cannot see like at all. Stick it in, hope for the best. Okay, so obviously I can't start here if my needle is here, so you're gonna end it. Just like we do with the detached chain stitch. And it should fit really nice and snug in there. So here, you're just gonna start again. Again, making sure that your chains aren't too long because you still want to have the nice curve of each of the petals there. Hi, Robin Lynn. That's my mom. Carrie says that dark blue looks great with the pink. I think it does too. I was a little bit hesitant because, like I said, you can't really see the stitches so well with the dark colors. But actually, it doesn't look too bad. I feel like you can still see them quite well on the video. So let me just turn this again. So, mother, I will tell you, this morning I had an Instagram nightmare. I don't know if my internet provider was down or what, but I recorded it for 18 minutes, the video of me talking to myself. Nobody came to watch me. I was feeling really down. And then I realized that maybe it was Instagram's fault. So I stopped the video. And it recorded all 18 minutes except with no sound. And it published 36 seconds onto Instagram. So your girl had a bad day. Carrie says, I normally go with a similar color for outlining, but this does look fab. I think you need to switch it up every once in a while, you know? But again, it just depends on what kind of a look you're going for. This would look lovely with even like this color as the outline, you know? Okay, let's see if I can do it from this way now. Yeah, I was a little bit like, what's going on? Like, is Sky out? Melissa said, what a rough start to your morning. So my internet provider is called Sky, and we get internet and cable and everything, like our TV and everything is like Sky. And there's even a little like outage map that you can check if Sky is broken down. And we didn't have anything in our area, so maybe it was just Instagram, like an Instagram glitch or something. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So yeah, I don't know what is the deal, but we sorted it out. Don't even worry about it. I just thought I'd go and do some stitching and then have some lunch. I had a quiche, if you wanted to know. Oh, Carrie says mine's been acting up this morning too, but I'm with Talk Talk. That's interesting. So I'm not sure what your name is, but SW Heats with 2 S's says, have you tried the friction markers for pattern transfer? I'm having trouble finding the ballpoints here. Where are you from, hun? Yeah, let me know where you're from and I can give you some places where to find them. I feel like we talked about this the other day, but it might have been someone else. In the States. So I think, oh, Carrie said probably the weather causing havoc with the internet. Maybe. So in the States, I know that they have them. I think my mom found them at Target and at Office Depot. Robin, are you still watching? Office Depot. Or maybe Office Max. They might have them too. So just to show, you can tell that I didn't tuck this one in all the way. So this one is completely together like this. This one you can see all of the kind of where I came up and where I went down. So you can see the actual chain. I'm going to take that out because actually I want it. Hi, Sarah. She said, oh, thanks. I've been looking at Michael's and they only have the markers. I've never tried the markers, but I know that the pens were good. So, and my mom says Staples as well. So yeah, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to tuck it in there because you don't want it to look like it's a separate piece. You want it to look like this one where it's all the same. And there's no shame in taking out stitches. I do it all the time. I did it in the video the other day. Just imagine. I don't know who edited that, but that's definitely from Disney. So yeah, you can use the eye of your needle to grab them out. And I will say that I find it easier if I can make the loop coming towards me and work around that way instead of having the loop go up and work up. I think it's much easier. That's why I've been trying to turn it around. This part of the music is really loud. So I've been trying to turn it around because I find it easier to work this way. But of course, they also have, Sarah, the water-soluble pens, which are just as good. They're a little bit thicker. Let me just turn this part of the music down a little bit. I don't think I have any anymore, actually. Oh, yeah, I do. So here's the kind that we have. Curing water erasable marker. It does not disappear spontaneously, but you do need to wash it off. So I don't know if she's gone or not, but the water-soluble ones, they do work. Just make sure to take your fabric out of the hoop before you wash it out, or you might get stains, wood stains on your fabric, because some of the wood, when you get it wet, it will have like a color to it. Okay, I'm just about to call this a day because this is so difficult to go around. It's so much easier when you just have it in your lap for the chain stitch. I do know you can get the Frixion markers from Amazon, or pens from Amazon. So if you need to go to Amazon, delivered to your door. Meg says, such a lovely effect with the chain stitch edge. I really like it. And like I said, I've been trying to add some more stitches that maybe we don't use all the time in here, but I don't want to use them just for the sake of using them. You kind of have to make sure that you can show how they could be used, because otherwise it's just stitches for stitch's sake. You want them to look nice, you know? So yeah, I think that's me. I'm going to call it a day for that because, goodness, it was like a workout trying to go around all of these hoops. That's a little bit better, actually. So just a little recap. I've done 6 strands for the middle and the yellow. I've done 6 strands and 3 wraps for these French knots, and 6 strands and 1 wrap for these French knots, and then 3 strands for the chain stitch. Carrie says, I'm going to try the chain stitch next time. I usually outline with stem stitch. Yeah, so I also usually outline with stem stitch, and actually on the sample, I did outline this one in stem stitch because the flower was so small. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to finish it. All right. Okay, so I've done these 3. I'll do the other one a little bit later, and then you can finish this one by yourself. I would still use 3 strands or even 2 strands if you think it's a little bit too thick. It should be fine. What is that? Get off of there. Yeah, it should be fine with the 3 strands. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you need help. Yeah, happy to help in any way. All right, so I hope that you have a great day. Yeah? And I will talk with you tomorrow back at my regular time at 10 o'clock. Pending internet cooperation. All right, talk with you later. Bye.